Hello everyone. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for refusing to let my brother's family stay with me after they lost their home? I, 34M, own a modest 3-bedroom house that I bought 5 years ago. I live alone and use one bedroom as my home office, IWFH full-time, and the other as a guest room/hobby space where I keep my music equipment and gaming setup. My brother, 38M, and his wife, 36F, recently lost their home due to financial issues. They have 3 kids, 12F, 10M, 7F. Their financial problems stem from a series of poor decisions. My brother lost his good-paying job 2 years ago after repeatedly showing up late, then bounced between jobs while his wife worked part-time. They kept their kids in expensive private schools and activities they couldn't afford, refused to downsize from their large house, and ignored my parents and my advice about budgeting. Eventually, they couldn't keep up with mortgage payments and were foreclosed on. When they lost their home, they asked if they could stay with me just for a few months until they get back on their feet. Here's where I might be the AH. I said no. My reasons. My house is simply too small for 6 people. They'd need to take over my entire living space. I need my home office to work, and I can't work effectively with 3 kids running around. I value my peace and quiet, and frankly, I don't want my life turned upside down. Their few months could easily turn into a year or more based on their financial history. My parents offered to let them stay in their larger home, but they refused because they don't want to live by my parents' rules. Instead of letting them stay, I offered to pay for a hotel for 2 weeks and help them find an affordable apartment. I also offered to cover their security deposit. My brother exploded, calling me selfish and saying I have plenty of space and am choosing things over family. My parents are torn. They understand my position but think I could make it work temporarily. Since then, my brother's family moved in with my parents, despite not wanting to earlier, and I'm getting constant texts from extended family about how I abandoned my brother in his time of need. My brother's wife is posting passive-aggressive things on social media about finding out who your real family is during hard times. So am I the bad person for not letting them stay with me? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for keeping no contact with my sister after her husband, my ex, passed? When I, 22F, was 14, I started dating Jace, who was 15 at the time. We were together for 3 years. We'd known each other for years and I always had the biggest crush on him. My sister Lauren, 23F now, knew. She was one of my best friends and I thought we'd told each other everything. But Lauren and Jace were cheating behind my back and Lauren got pregnant. I didn't know at first and was the first person she told, and I supported her. It was only after she told our parents and they pushed her to say who the father was that she confessed. I broke up with Jace, who didn't care. He was done with me and wanted Lauren anyway. While Lauren kept begging me to forgive her for hurting me and begging me to still be close to her. I refused, and when Lauren moved in with Jace and his family, it was a relief. My parents attempted to force forgiveness on me. They took me to a church therapist and they had a number of talks with me about Lauren being my sister for life and Jace being just a high school boyfriend. All it did was push me away from my parents, and when I turned 18, I moved in with my grandma. I had very low contact with my parents and no contact with Lauren and Jace. They got married just before the baby was born and I ignored the invite. I ignored when they had their first and then second kid. Lauren made several attempts to speak to me and apologize more, but I ignored them and I told extended family that I wasn't going to change my mind. Some were quick to say I was a silly child and I'd regret throwing my sister away. Others said I was so young and we both were, and hurting people's feelings when you're young happens, and why couldn't I hate Jace and forgive Lauren? My grandma always said nobody was making it better by pushing. Grandma stood by me through all of this. When Lauren asked her to help pull off a surprise reunion so she could speak to me, Grandma turned her down. She told Lauren she wasn't coming to the house as long as I lived here. And she told her she would not help her trick me or anything crazy like that. Some of the wider family, my parents included, are mad at Grandma, but she said if Lauren can have her mistakes forgiven by everyone else and be allowed to feel and do what she wants, then I should be given the same grace. But it was argued always that the difference was I was ending a relationship for good while Lauren made a single mistake. Last month Jace died suddenly. I don't know what happened exactly, but Grandma got the call about it. Then more calls came and asked me to finally move on and speak to Lauren and support her as a sister should. I didn't. I didn't go to the funeral, and neither did Grandma actually. She said even if she had wanted to, she knew the time would be spent trying to browbeat her into forcing me to reconcile with Lauren, and a funeral is not the place for that, so she was removing herself from that. Grandma has been getting shit from so many people in the family who think I should have let go of the no contact now that Jace is dead. Since I never answer to any family members who think I need to forgive Lauren, they go through her. I hate that she deals with it. But she doesn't block them because she wants to see just how far they'll go with her. She said they're helping her trim her will, which I find funny, and I love Grandma's humor. But I feel awful that she's getting the abuse the rest of the family can't give me. It made me want to ask if I'm TA for keeping the no contact going with Lauren, and if people outside my family think I'm a monster. I have the support of friends and also some family. It's just, I know we were really young when all this happened. I know once Jace cheated with Lauren, he would have done it with anyone. So I know it's not like we'd have lasted like I imagined. But Lauren doing it to me just makes it worse because I loved and trusted and was there for her. So she betrayed me and even leaned on me when the cheating led to a pregnancy. Ever since I found out, I wished she wasn't my sister. I could never see even a civil relationship for us in the future. But I'm aware that it might make people think I'm the bad person and not her, especially now that Jace has died. So am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person if I break up with my fiancé after he said he won't take care of me and our 3-month-old son while admitted at the hospital? Our 3-month-old is admitted for pneumonia. He got it while visiting my family, and the reason why we were forced to visit is because I need help taking care of our son. We've been staying at fiancé's home with his family since I gave birth, and while his mom helps, she's been out of town recently. The rest of his family does a little bit from time to time, but it's never really anything significant. He has a full-time job, so he can only truly help out on the weekends. I haven't been sleeping well for a while because I'm exclusively breastfeeding, and a few days ago I really felt like my body couldn't handle the exhaustion anymore, so I asked my parents if we could stay over for a while. My parents are very hands-on grandparents. When the baby's not feeding, they take him so I can rest. Unfortunately, one of them caught the flu and passed it on to my baby. And now he is admitted for pneumonia. My fiancé didn't want him admitted, he wanted to bring him home and just give him meds orally, but I persisted because the pediatrician strongly advised the need for 4 antibiotics. Once at the hospital, things got worse because they had to try multiple times to get in 4-line on him and kept failing. Fiancé kept telling me it's my fault for bringing him over to my parents and for agreeing to get him admitted. He was so distraught I saw him crying while holding our baby. It's the first time I've ever seen him cry. Pedia says our baby might stay for a minimum of 3 days just until he gets the antibiotics and clears the infection. We might have to bring him home with the 4-line and give the antibiotics at home. The problem is if his 4-line gets blocked or gets out of vein, we'll have to have it reinserted. I was supposed to finish my maternity leave this week, but decided to extend my unpaid leave for 1 week. I have asked him to take a leave as well as he has plenty of leaves left, and also he has a 5-day mandatory leave he needs to fulfill. But now he says he won't do it. He'll go to work and I should ask my family for help while our son's in the hospital since it's their fault he's here. When he said it, I was so dumbfounded he would even consider saying these things. I just replied with okay and haven't spoken with him since. He's still in the hospital with us now, but says he won't be staying tomorrow. When I ask him for simple things like, please pass me the water, or elevate the head of the bed, things I can't do since I'm holding the baby, he does them begrudgingly. I'm so heartbroken by this. At a time when we should be supporting each other, he chooses to antagonize me in every step and decides to leave me hanging. I'm devastated that on top of worrying for our baby's health and being the primary caregiver, he springs all of this on me. I can't help but think that this isn't how it's supposed to be, and I don't want a future like this. I know there will be many more difficult things we will have to go through in the future, and it's scary to think he'll act this way when those times come. I'm debating telling him that if he doesn't take care of us during this time, he should consider the engagement off and my son, and I will move out and stay with my family once he gets discharged. A huge part of me wants him to come around and for us to fix things. I haven't told my family this yet because it would feel like the final nail in the coffin for our relationship if they know he's acting this way. You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.